welcome to the SpHERe.it Podcast. My name is Peter Ratcliffe. I'll be your host today and hopefully for many episodes. As you know, we've been working very hard here at SpHERe.it to develop some content for all of you technical folks out there that you can learn from and gain insight from. Within this particular track, we're covering technology in the different paradigms that exist in technology. And one of the interesting spaces at the moment is definitely the evolution of the platform engineering space. And today I've invited Bartek Antoniak to the podcast, someone that I've worked with for best part of a year, worked very closely together. I've got a lot of time. I find that you're a very insightful person and it's very exciting to have you. Thank you very much. So let's get into it really. Now, platform engineering, what's your background in platform engineering? Can you tell me a little bit about your background, please?
Absolutely. So despite the fact my career started in a traditional business application development, I was always passionate about distributed systems, security, this non-functional side of things. Basically, what's happening under the hood, how to glue different parts of the system together in an automated fashion, because deconstructing another business processes into programming logic became in most cases boring. Even a new project didn't bring enough excitement.
Right, okay, yeah.
and this eventually led me to the cloud engineering space, while I was also transitioning from individual contributor to more leadership/management type of role.
Okay, great. So now you're with Virtus Lab, which is a consultancy business,
Yes.
and you're providing this kind of expertise to the marketplace.
Yeah,
So
it's been like over 7 years of helping businesses to navigate in this cloud-native technology landscape. It involved a wide range of initiatives, from enabling technologies, streamlining existing processes, building teams, ways of working, and of course, platform engineering played an important role in this journey.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, platform engineering for some people might be a new concept. It's a common term, but a new concept in terms of how it works. How it's sort of set up. Could you give us a little bit of background on platform engineering and what it's about?
Sure. So let me start with this idea of how platform engineering emerged on top of DevOps, because in my opinion, it's quite important to understand the evolution, the background, and then I can give you the more tangible definition of platform engineering itself.
Sure.
So in recent years, DevOps became de facto a standard practice in the industry with its you build, you run it. However, despite all these benefits and for some companies it was even a complete mindset shift, DevOps didn't scale enough because it requires a specialized talent that is very difficult and expensive to find. And the bigger organization, the more teams are duplicating the effort, trying to come up with the same solution in a slightly different way. And in response to that, companies are increasingly focusing on engineering enablement initiatives. So you can hear about this a lot as a way to increase developers' productivity.
Okay. So developer productivity is one of the mainstays of a platform engineering.
Exactly. And the platform engineering is supposed to streamline these processes, reduce mean time to hello world, or reduce lead time to production. And at the same time, the platform engineering helps developers to deploy and operate software in a safe and reliable manner. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to the definition itself, it's often called internal platform for developers.
Okay.
That is built by the platform engineering team following some product management principles. Basically, it means that we treat internal developers as actual customers. So we listen to them, we try to understand how they operate, identify some friction points, and enable them in their day-to-day work. And I believe that's the interesting approach to overcome the scaling challenges of DevOps these days.
Yeah, I mean, it must be quite a difficult place to be when you're taking a customer on that journey, when they're so used to, single contributor models and, corralling the development teams and the architects and the people into the platform engineering story. I know it might be a little bit left field, but would you be able to give us some examples of how you enable that? things that you might do that you could talk about?
Yeah, I think it's worth touching on quite interesting story when we engage with the one customer in the retail industry. And previously, the infrastructure spin up took like approximately 2 months because the organization was fragmented into multiple technology departments, and they were lacking some kind of standardization and consistent operating model in the cloud. And together with stakeholders, we came up with an idea of centralizing this infrastructure and paving the road to production for multiple engineering teams in the company. And in the result of that, we managed to speed up this infrastructure spin up from even a couple of months to just a couple of days. Of course, it can vary because the time split between managing the infrastructure and focusing on the core business value, implementing new features might vary depending on the team expertise, organizational structure, responsibility models, ways of working. It's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, whenever you have this golden path to production, whenever you think about centralization and enabling your engineering team to go faster in a more predictable way, you can really achieve a great results with this approach.
Yeah, because I always thought of platform engineering, coming from a non-technical background as this kind of thing that exists today. That there's a load of technology, but the way you're articulating it is that it's much more about the way that you operate around the platform and how the operating model needs to change to enable that kind of capability. So there's a nuance to that story, and it's great that you were able to sort of articulate, how you would approach that kind of thing at scale. It's not an easy thing to do, right? So we were going to talk a little bit about the sort of distinguishing, the differences between development and systems administration for people out there. Do you have can you give us a little bit of color around that, distinguishing the platform engineering paradigm between those things?
Of course. So in my opinion, the distinction between application development and platform engineering is both subtle and significant because they usually involve pretty much similar skill set, right? Okay. And there are many shared responsibilities as part of the software development lifecycle and infrastructure management. So we always, there's no kind of strict line between application development and people working in the infrastructure space, but they also diverge at their core focus, where application development focuses on front-end and back-end systems. They work directly with customers. They think about business processes, while platform engineering operates behind the scenes to streamline existing processes, enable developers in their day-to-day work. And I think the most important aspect here is platform engineering is intended to solve problems at scale. Compared to application development, they typically think about their own technology or
their own
business domain,
context.
Exactly, and not necessarily go beyond the current scope of the project and think about company-wide impact. Of course, there are many examples of people improving organizational standards, contributing to technology patterns, establishing some reference architectures. However, this is not the primary focus, right?
Sure.
And when it comes to the system administration, these people not necessarily interact that much with developers, and they rather focus on service management aspects, keeping the lights on, handling some service tickets, and most importantly, these people not necessarily have software engineering skills, which are critical in platform engineering.
Sure. Okay, so the actual persona of those engaged running these systems and managing these systems for developers is basically changing based on what you're saying. In the system administrators, will they exist in the future, or do you think they would change the way that their skills would
say
fit?
a lot of people transitioned from system administration to DevOps and eventually jumped on this platform engineering bandwagon.
Sure.
And that's a natural way of career progression, in my opinion.
Right. Okay. Great. Look, I really enjoyed that comment and talking about that. I think it's very profound that this change that is happening, and it's also quite exciting because I'm sure you could talk forever about the actual technologies behind it, but for now we're just going to focus on what this thing is and talk about a little bit about that. So, how does platform engineering actually contribute to an organization's success? And something as a side note to that is platform engineering suitable for everyone or every company? Over to you.
So let me answer the first question, because there's actually two separate questions. So it's actually quite interesting because you need to communicate the value of your platform both at the early stage of this initiative when you work with decision makers on the mission, vision statement. Of course, you need to get the exec buy-in. You need to secure the funding for the project, but you also need to communicate the value proposition along the way when you are dealing with the adoption process. How would you encourage teams to join your platform? You need to have compelling reasons, and you need to communicate this really well, because in theory, platforms are not supposed to be mandated. Of course, there are some organizations where platforms might be mandated, and this is completely fine, but it's dependent on the specific context of the given organization. And I would consider two distinct perspectives. The first is engineering perspective, and the second one is business. So from the business perspective, without platforms, team would be faced with a lot of duplication of effort and trying to solve the same issues.
So reinvent the wheel every day.
Over and over again, and collectively, that's a significant time waste, and we can use this engineering time more wisely, and platform engineering can actually help to free up these engineering teams from managing the infrastructure to focus on generating the core business value. Building apps, building new features, interacting with
Am I right
customers.
in saying that platform engineering, you're talking about the efficiency is one of the main areas that you're looking at for platform engineering, to make sure that everyone's doing the right things in the right way and that you're running the platforms effectively. But on another level, there must be some other sort of areas that can benefit the business. For example, I'm assuming running a platform in this way enables you to have control of costs when you're looking at infrastructure, for example, FinOps and cloud and things like that. So that's quite a benefit on top of that efficiency, correct?
Exactly. Platform engineering benefits from economy of scale. So as long as you have this critical mass of users and you consolidate the technology, you consolidate products, you can have better control, but at the same time, you don't have to restrict your users. So you can better utilize compute resources, you can manage the licensing. It gives you many interesting opportunities to observe the entire ecosystem of software development lifecycle and measure how it works, measure some lead time to change or deployment frequency, and even you can run some cost optimization initiatives as part of your platform engineering efforts. So it's kind of a central place where you can facilitate the change, because imagine doing this independently with every single team at scale. That would be a huge overhead, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about that and that kind of scale. I would like to go over a little bit more to the sort of stakeholders, the developers in the platform, the kind of service that they're getting from the platform engineering team. Would that be a self-service capability where they would have requests to the platform engineering team for certain environments, or is that all completely automated through the technology that you're implementing?
Of course, it depends of the platform architecture and platform capabilities, but traditionally, many companies implemented this IT services structure with a lot of handoffs, with ticket-driven mindset.
Sure.
And platform engineering is trying to address these challenges and offer a better, more scalable approach to this kind of problems. And of course, developers need to self-serve themselves, because this is how we scale. People scale linearly, or while with automation we can go exponentially. And it's very important as part of your platform engineering efforts to provide the self-service capabilities for developers, so they can build on top of that.
Sure.
And you don't really know what they're gonna build, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you give them the foundation, you give them necessary tools, you define the right abstraction levels, you are not restricting your users, it unlocks completely new possibilities, and developers are basically free up with this non-functional work at the end of the day.
So Bartek, a really good conversation so far. So in your opinion, what have been the key milestones for platform engineering, and how has it evolved since it became a thing?
So the way I said, platform engineering, it's not a new concept. Standardizing and centralizing IT systems has been a foundational strategy for companies for many years, for even decades, right?
Wow. Okay.
And these days we leverage new technologies to build these platforms primarily on top of cloud platforms, right? And if we look at companies like Google or Netflix, they are at the forefront of technology for many years. There are a lot of new advancements, new solutions which emerge from these companies, but they also face some scaling problems related to growing customer demand, growing engineering capability. And as an answer, they started looking to leverage open source community to scale up. And for example, Google released Kubernetes, which was built on top of their internal platform Borg. And Kubernetes quickly became de facto operating system for cloud and instantly enabled a whole new ecosystem of technologies to emerge. Yeah. And that's in my opinion, the most significant milestone in modern platform engineering.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And the next milestone was focusing more on the improving organizational aspects. Manuel Poli's Matthew Skelton published Team Topologies book, which was even considered as a platform engineering Bible by some people in the industry. And they touch on organizational design, team topologies, team interactions, and how platform engineering play a vital role in shaping this up. And following this, we see a huge interest of introducing product-led approach in infrastructure, especially building platforms as a product, which we already discussed. And that was the very important milestone in my opinion as well, because I think we listen to people, right?
I think it is. I mean, there's a psychology to it. Getting people in, moving in the right direction, all pushing in the right direction together, giving them the guide rails, giving them the technology and that enablement to get on to do what they do best, and for the businesses to succeed through technology.
And even bridging the gap between infrastructure and application space. Instead of having this formal ticket-driven approach, we are actually building a bridge and trying to work with them as part of early adoption, as part of partnerships with other technology departments in the organization. So in my opinion, product-led approach plays a very important role, and that was a significant milestone. Of course, we can go beyond that and talk about technology advancements, and we can probably spend
hours talking about that.
Exactly. But that's not the point. I think the most notable aspects in terms of technology advancements in platform engineering was improving the level of automation, especially a completely new set of tools emerged in this space, and there is a significant interest in using general programming languages in automation, because most of the systems are distributed in nature.
Sure.
And it's quite complex to automate this at the end of the day, and having this flexibility of using programming languages together with software development keys, so-called SDKs.
So the infrastructure as code kind of
Exactly.
paradigm that you're talking
Even
about.
infrastructure as a software. Infrastructure as
Okay.
code was primarily focusing on declarative approach, right?
Right, okay.
While infrastructure software uses general programming languages instead, in conjunction with this declarative approach, of course. And finally, we can't forget about the trend of multi-cloud and edge
Sure.
computing. So there is a big appetite to expand the public cloud offerings to on-prem and the edge, and maintain consistent technology choices, provide the same user experience to developers, and really maintain a one single platform. And with today's technology advancement, it's finally possible. At least it's a bit easier compared to the past.
Brilliant. Look, thank you, Bartek. It's been a pleasure
You're welcome.
speaking with you. Great talking about this stuff. Very exciting. Obviously, you can keep in touch with us. SpHERe.it. This is the end of our first episode. We'll be having the next episode, which is about navigating the platform engineering landscape. Please do subscribe, like, send us some information about things you want us to talk about. You know, your engagement is really important to us. Thanks very much from me and everyone at SpHERe.it. Thank you.
Thank you.